We talk a lot about construction on this channel, but today, let's take a dive into destruction, shall we? On this episode of Built to Billion, we present the tallest building demolitions in the world. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you love to hear about all the mega projects of the world, 1 billion at a time. Number 8. Ocean Tower. In South Padre Island in Texas is where our first building was located. It was 115 meters or 375 feet before falling in 2009. The building was supposed to house luxury condos and amenities, but 2 years into construction, the builders noticed cracks were starting to form in the building's support columns. The building had sunk more than 16 inches, earning it the nickname the Leaning Tower of South Padre. After engineers looked at the damage, they concluded that renovations would be too costly to undergo. So, in December of 2009, a company named Controlled Demolition Incorporated performed a controlled implosion of the building. At the time, the Ocean Tower was the largest concrete structure to ever be imploded, and the park next to the building was closed for the day to protect any people from harm. Still, they were able to look on from nearby hotels and restaurants. Number 7. Landmark Tower. We stay in Texas for our next 380-foot or 116-meter tall demolition. When Landmark Tower opened in 1957, it was the highest tower in the city. It was originally fully occupied, but 30 years after its conception was fully abandoned. Then it was hit by a tornado in 2000, being dealt serious damage, and it was decided that the building should be demolished. So 6 years later, the Midwest Wrecking Company cleared out 15 blocks of the city in order to prepare for implosion. It took 360 pounds of explosives and only a couple of minutes to bring the tower down. Number 6. AFE Tower. At 116 meters tall or 382 feet, this building was the tallest tower to ever be demolished in Europe. The AFE Tower was part of the campus of the Gulf University in Frankfurt, Germany. Initially, the plan was to demolish the building one piece at a time, but after the residents complained about how long it took, the decision was made to just blow the whole thing up. In 2014, after a lot of buzz from the media, 30,000 people actually showed up to watch the building's demolition. The building's concrete skeleton was brought down first, after a loud bang, and then the building's core was brought down with 2 blasts on the 5th and 17th floors. One part fell to the south, and the other fell to the north. A modern residential tower known as 140 West was built as its replacement. The new building included luxury apartments on the top floors and hotel rooms below them. Number 5. Xi'an City Building. In November 2015, the 387-foot, 187-meter Golden Flower Building was demolished in Xi'an City, China. It was the tallest building to ever be demolished in China. It was originally built in 1996, but it hadn't been used for decades. As it was too expensive to remodel the tower, China hired Pengcheng Explosion Company to destroy it. The company dug a 13-foot deep trench around the perimeter to reduce the impact of explosion. With 1.4 tons of dynamite and 12,000 detonators, the building came down no problem. It was the cleaning of debris that took over 70 days. Number 4. J.L. Hudson's Department Store. Built in 1911 in Detroit, Michigan, the J.L. Hudson's Department Store has one of the craziest demolitions of all time. The building had retail stores and office space, and it was the tallest department store in the world upon opening at 440 feet or 134 meters tall. After 80 years, the department store was demolished in 1998. The explosion was so strong, it broke windows of department stores nearby that had already been abandoned and damaged the Detroit People Mover, a train in the city. A new 912-foot or 278-meter skyscraper has been constructed in the area and will be completed by 2023. Number 3. Braden Point Power Station. This one wasn't a building, but the demolition of the Braden Point Power Station was undeniably cool. This was a power plant in Massachusetts that first opened in the 60s and operated until 2017. The company that owned the plant decided to demolish 2 of the plant towers in 2019. The explosion set a world record for the tallest cooling towers to ever be blown up, with each building being 500 feet or 152 meters. People traveled from all over to the site to watch the demolition live. Over the next few months, different parts of the power plant were demolished and the scrap metal created fires, adding chaos to an otherwise normal demolition. Number 2. Mina Plaza. This building was never completed, but still earned the honor of being the tallest building to ever be demolished. The plaza included 4 separate towers at 541 feet or 165 meters. Developers initially began building the towers in 2007, but stopped in 2012 after a dispute with the owners. The building was then left abandoned due to financing issues. In 2020, the government decided to demolish the buildings. The buildings were an eyesore and stood in the way of the redevelopment of the city's port. The demolition team that was hired surveyed the area to make sure no one in Abu Dhabi could get hurt. Then, with 13,000 pounds of plastic explosives, sent the towers tumbling down. 3 towers fell first, and the 4th came down behind them. Number 1. Power Station Westerholt. At 336 meters, or 1,195 feet tall, the chimney of the power station Westerholt was the tallest controlled structure to ever be demolished. The chimney was built in 1981 in Germany, but when the power station was decommissioned in 2005, the chimney was taken out a year later. The explosion happened at 2 levels, one near the bottom and one in the middle. So many people showed up to record the demolition that it actually delayed the professionals from executing the job on time. But needless to say, the chimney ended up being nothing but a pile of rubble. They should really sell tickets to these things, huh? Which one of these demolitions was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like. And in the meantime, click a video on the screen to watch something you haven't seen. And thanks for visiting Built a Billion.